This week, we give an update on the upcoming Republican convention in Tampa. Talk to Adam Kokesh, Sheriff Mack, Jordan Page, and Luke Rudkowski and get their take on the future of the Liberty Movement and ask you what you think the future holds for us. This and much more. Get ready to evolve. Welcome to Evolve, your weekly dose of Liberty news created for the people and by the people. This is Forrest Jellick, and thanks for joining us. So last week, we talked about how far we've come. So this week, we're going to dedicate the show to the future of our movement. To start off, let's ask the question, where does Ron Paul stand in the nominating process for president? It's over, right?
Oh, hell no.
Or could there be a miracle in Tampa?
Well, this year, the Ron Paul campaign has not planned a shadow convention. They are doing a pre-convention rally ahead of the real Republican convention in Tampa. But that's it. And maybe there is a reason that the Ron Paul campaign has not planned a parallel, we don't care you're holding a convention nearby blowout. Maybe it's because this year at the Republican convention, at the real Republican convention, Ron Paul supporters might actually have something to do. Quite a lot of the Ron Paul folks who are going to this pre-convention rally in Tampa the day before the convention, quite a lot of them are going to be in Tampa anyway because they are delegates to the Republican National Convention.
That's strange. I seem to recall Fox News having something to say about this in May.
Ron Paul is said to have won the majority of delegates to Louisiana's state Republican convention over the weekend. He has also amassed a plurality in Iowa, Minnesota, Missouri, and Washington state. That would put the Texas congressman at the 5-state threshold needed to have his name entered in the presidential voting at the National Party Convention in Tampa this summer.
So it seems either the mainstream media story has changed, or more likely, this is the result of the Republican Party continually trying to cheat Ron Paul out of his wins. So let's correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Ron Paul already have a majority of the delegates in the following 6 states? Colorado, Iowa, Louisiana, Maine, Minnesota, and Nevada? Now, I'm not here to say Ron Paul will win or lose the nomination. There are plenty of armchair quarterbacks out there who seem to have better crystal balls than I do. But let's look in the past. Who predicted that Barack Obama would win early in his campaign? And I'm here from Chicago, and I'll tell you, next to nobody did. Or who predicted that the most popular prime minister in England ever, Winston Churchill, would lose his nomination just a few months after the end of World War II with an 83% approval rating? Nobody. Or who predicted the American housing and credit crisis followed by the economic collapse?
Gentlemen, thanks for being here. Peter, I want to start with you. Although there are more and more people saying that the U.S. economy will be in a recession next year, it is still a minority position. Why do you think that a recession is coming, and just how bad is it going to be?
I think it's going to be pretty bad, and whether it starts in 07 or 8, I think is immaterial, and I also think it's going to last not just for quarters, but for years. See, the basic problem with the U.S. economy is we have too much consumption and borrowing and not enough production and savings. And what's going to happen is the American consumer is basically going to stop consuming and start rebuilding his savings, especially when he sees his home equity evaporate. And when you have the economy 70% consumption, you can't address those imbalances without a recession.
Well, other than Peter Schiff, Ron Paul, and the other Austrian economists. But you get what I'm saying. So could there be an August surprise in Tampa?
Incredible Cinderella story. This unknown comes out of nowhere to lead the pack.
Well, who knows? But what I will say is that it can happen. In comparison, me getting out alive past my 18th birthday would have been a much bigger miracle. And with that, let's see what Ron has to say about the Tampa convention on August 26th.
Thanks for joining me. I'd like to give you an update on our plans for August 26th for Tampa. Everything is looking very good. The plans are there. We have the Sun Dome rented, and we have plenty of room for a lot of people to come. So we're finalizing all the plans. I want to thank everybody who's been interested, involved, in planning to come to Tampa because this is a very important event for us. The event is going to actually start at noontime, even though the doors will be open at 11 a.m., which is that Sunday morning. And the program will run to approximately 6 p.m. And we're expecting to have a lot of excitement there, a lot of planning and preparation for the convention in the following week. Now, the one thing that I think is going to be very important is to find out how many people are coming, so we need RSVPs. And you'll be able to go to the website, Ron Paul 2012, and get the information, be able to let us know if you're coming and how many people will be there. This will be very helpful to us. Also, those who are delegates and alternates, we'd like to have a little closer contact. We're in contact with a lot, but we don't want to miss anybody. So you can find out how to email us and let us know exactly who you are, where you are, so we can communicate and make the preparations for this event.
So go to their website and let them know you're coming, and I will see you there. Now the question has to be asked. What if we don't win, and what are our options? Well, we can either stick with Obama or we can get Mitt Romney. And what exactly would that mean? Well, to start, both supported the TARP bailouts, both supported enforced individual mandates in health insurance, Romney on the state level, Obama on the federal level, both supported the Patriot Act, both supported CISPA. Obama modeled the Forced Health Care Act after Romney's version in Massachusetts. Then Romney comes out last week and says that the forced health care mandate is not a tax, and then he detracts it. So is Romney's honeymoon over? I just want somebody to tell me how the honeymoon even got started. And you supporters of Romney that consider yourself conservative, please explain. So there's your hope and change, part 1 or part 2, next verse same as the first. Now some of you Romney supporters here are going to have to help me see the light on this one. Hit me up in the comments below and let me know what you find in your candidate of choice. I'm truly curious. Or better yet, you Romney delegates can show up in Tampa and stand for real conservatism and real change. And that change is Ron Paul. We're going to have a little heart-to-heart here. I just want to ask you one question to think about over the next few weeks. Would you rather be remembered for staying the course with one of the most non-conservative or principled Republicans of our time, or do you want to be remembered for taking back the Republic? How much longer do you really think we can last down that path that both the Republicans and Democrats have taken us? Now, I read quite a bit, and I have a pretty good feeling where Thomas Jefferson would stand on this, and it's not with Mitt Romney. So think deeply about this. It's gut check time. And to my Liberty folks, this movement is all about the future. We may not win today, we may not even win tomorrow, but we will win. We are even getting glimpses of this in the media. Now there are those that are beginning to realize that the Liberty voice is growing as a force to be reckoned with. Now as the article states, and I quote, "Something's going on in America this election year, a renaissance of an ideal as old as the nation itself. That live and let live, get out of my business individualism versus paternalism dogma that is the hallmark of libertarianism." And I'm going to one-up the article. I don't just think it's the hallmark of libertarianism. It is the hallmark of being a true American. And if we really think about it, America's not a race. It's not a gender, it's not a religion, it's not any orientation of any sort. Simply, America is an idea, and that idea is liberty. That is the only thing that binds us together, and it is what forged our Constitution. And this, my friends, is our time to take it back.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes, it's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
For this week's Firestarter, we wanted to take a minute to ask some leaders in the Liberty movement where they think we are headed. Specifically, what future leaders in the political realm they see the Liberty movement focusing their energy on. What methods have been successful for them in introducing people to the Liberty message. And after Ron Paul, what suggestions they might have for us continuing the Liberty momentum. So with that, we had a chance to speak with Adam Kokesh, Sheriff Mack, Jordan Page, and Luke Rudkowski on what their thoughts were on this. You're going to want to see this clip, so let's go to it.
What future leaders in the political realm do you see the Liberty movement focusing their energy on?
I think the movement is getting past focusing its energy on leaders and is now about focusing on ideas and activism and on specific things that reach out to the sheeple and wake them up. And I think that's part of the evolution of the movement is a lot of us turn to leaders when we need a leader. But if you're in that position where you need a leader, maybe you're not ready to really be a part of the freedom movement. And we have people like in media production, like you, like me, like all sorts of people out there on the internet who are producing videos every day that are providing tools and providing an outreach and maybe an example in some ways. But that's the thing that makes our movement unique, is I don't think anybody can really take claim to be a leader of someone who's also a free human being. Now, you can lead action, you can lead organizing, you can lead specific events, but really being a leader of the movement, no, it doesn't work that way, because this is a leaderless resistance.
Well, where I see America now focusing their freedom energy is at the local level. I think Ron Paul has proven that there's really no solution in Washington, D.C. He was a stalwart fighter in Washington, D.C., but really as far as changing anything there, he didn't. Either did anybody else. No one is changing the tax and spend, borrow and spend, corrupt greed of Washington, D.C. politics. It hasn't stopped. It hasn't changed. So where do we go?
Well, there's a lot of great people doing great things. Justin Amash, obviously, I think he's pretty cool. Got a lot of heart. There's Pat McGeehan out of West Virginia. He's definitely like a Ron Paul kind of guy. He's a really brilliant economist and has been a state delegate. He's running for state senate right now. There's Matt Shea, for sure, out of Spokane, Washington. He's a state rep. I'd love to see him take his activism in his political career national. I'd love to see that happen. He's a good friend of mine.
The future leaders that I see people focusing their energy on is you. Right now, sitting at home, you have the power, potential to do anything, and I think it starts at the local, small level, and it involves everybody from the sheriff to the council member to the congressman, all the way to the senator. It involves everybody, and I think the more of us that step up our game, the more of us that believe in ourselves, the more of us that say, you know what, I'm not going to believe in one individual, I'm going to believe in myself, I'm going to take the responsibility on myself. I think that is where the future is going.
We can take America back, county by county, sheriff by sheriff, state by state.
In my time as a political activist, I've gone through some different phases, and my first phase was being active with the Iraq Veterans Against the War. I was active in speaking out. I spoke at events. I helped organize events with the Iraq Veterans Against the War, protests, organizing GI resistance, helping people out, building community within the world of anti-war veterans, and making media appearances and things like that. And then I ran for Congress, and then I had a radio show, and then I had a TV show, and now I do Adam versus the Man as an independent operation where I'm able to have absolute flexibility and do whatever I want every single day when I wake up. My only commitment is to my audience, and I think being able to do that, to be able to connect with people like that and invigorate them and give them something to work with and be able to provide people with something of value is the most effective way to spread the message. And I think that's a lesson for the movement as a whole.
But I found the most effective methods in my path have been the songs that ask questions of people. Because it's only when a person answers those hard-hitting questions for themselves do they finally see, what this is all really about.
I think just asking questions and demanding answers, the only real way to bring somebody to a point of opinion is not to force them into it, is not to demand that they believe what you believe, but to listen to them, to understand them, understand where they're coming from, their point of view, and asking questions that lead them to the path of simple liberty. It's simple. We deserve freedom. We deserve to not be hounded by the government. We deserve not to have a police state. We deserve to live as we want as long as we're not hurting anybody. And by just simply asking questions, bringing somebody there, I think, is a lot more effective than saying, this is it, this is the whole truth, because ultimately we don't know the truth.
Again, the introduction of the liberty message is now taking hold with sheriffs across this country. And why am I so focused on sheriffs? Well, I used to be a sheriff, and I know and understand the power of the sheriff. And yes, the doctrine and theory of interposition, that the sheriff is the ultimate authority in his county, and he can interpose, put himself in the way for the people who are being victimized by government. And that to me, I hate to beat a dead horse here, But that to me is the only solution left. And what's even better, we're having tremendous success with sheriffs jumping on board the freedom train.
The momentum of liberty, it's like a force of nature, not something that we have any conscious control over, even as a movement. You look at the broader social dynamics and how we are advancing towards liberty. If all of the liberty activists on the face of the earth disappeared tomorrow, people would spring up to take our place because there is a need for this. There is a desire for this in the rest of the population. If there wasn't, we'd just be completely spinning our wheels here and there would be no point. But because we know that we're providing something of value, we know that the market will always value that. And it's people who have that faith in the market, have faith in people who are able to make decisions for themselves without forcing their will on others through government or anything else. We can see that there is a value in this, and that the momentum is bigger than any one of us, or bigger than any nation, or any political movement, or any manifestation. It's really a phase in human evolution. It's sort of the end of the statist phase of human history, and that's what's so exciting.
When this campaign is over, the consciousness movement continues to expand. We keep learning, we keep educating. It's not over. We haven't lost or won. You know, we win and we lose every day. You have to ask yourself, how committed are you to your own freedom? And what are you willing to do to preserve that, to maintain it, for you and for your children, for your community?
I think the momentum can't be stopped, and it won't be stopped. And I think the only reason why it won't be is because of individuals out there themselves who are listening right now, who know that it's not just about one person, who know that it's not just about one major idea or one major campaign or one major election year. They know it's beyond that. They know that this fight is a lot more important, a lot more bigger than just one single thing, one single issue. And they know that it's them. They know that it's in their hands and that they're the ones responsible to where it goes. And I hope people grasp that potential, grasp that responsibility, go out there and take full charge steps ahead towards freedom and liberty.
Well, the liberty momentum has got to now take place and take hold within the counties of America. You can deal with 535 corrupt DC politicians, or you can deal with local officials where you deal with maybe 2 or 3 county commissioners. You deal with a sheriff, you deal with a county attorney. You deal with a city council. You deal with people who you know. You deal with people who live in your area instead of bureaucracies and bureaucrats of Washington, D.C.
4 very different and insightful perspectives, all of value, all trying to achieve the same thing, freedom for all people. So make sure to visit sheriffmack.com, jordanpagemusic.com, Adam vs. the Man, and keep your eye out for Luke asking the tough questions. All right, Liberty friends, it's time to close out the show, and I wanted to take a moment to talk to you about where I see the future of the Liberty Movement, and I really don't think it's that complicated. You are the Liberty Movement. Whether Ron Paul wins or not, the torch has been passed to you. 20 years ago, he talked to a room of maybe 30 people. Today, he fills college stadiums. It's now our turn to keep up that progress. And that progress will come in many forms. Some of you will run for office. Some of you will support local liberty candidates that choose to run for office and work for campaigns yourself. Some of you will start businesses and ideas centered around the liberty perspective. And some of you will be the voice of the next generation of liberty. And some of you just may tune out altogether and try to remove yourself from the system. I will begrudge no man of their free choice. Just let us remember that there are over 55 million registered Republicans, nearly the same registered Democrats, and statistical studies of societal tipping points can occur when just over about 10% of a people get behind a movement. And that's what the tireless minority that Ron Paul talks about truly is. And we aren't quite there yet, but we're getting close. So whatever it is that you decide to do, no matter what it is, I only have a couple of words of advice, much learned from the good doctor himself. Do what you do, but do it respectfully. Do it with principle, educate yourself, and remember, in order to win this battle of ideas, we will need others that see our same perspective. I believe that a true, kind-metered, respectful approach is far more likely to win somebody over than shouting matches. And I think we see that every day on Facebook, and truly, I never see anybody change their mind. And frankly, that's a lesson that I learned. Once I took a step back and looked at myself, I realized that I had never, at any point in my life, won anybody over in a verbal or written argument. Whenever it got heated, we just shut down. I have, however, since changed my approach and introduced a large number of people to the liberty movement that never had any interest before. That's just been my experience, no more, no less. And how did I do that? I just made friends first, and I approached it kindly, whether we agreed or disagreed. And ultimately, when they saw it for themselves, they owned it for themselves, and they saw it and they believed it. So good luck to all of you. I look forward to watching us grow and taking back our republic. And to the Republican Party that has worked so hard to cheat us, and the Democrats who keep trying to justify the unjustifiable, this is for you. I will say this as sure as I've ever been sure of anything. You are the past, and we are the future. And with that, thanks again for joining us on Evolve. And remember to share this on Facebook and Twitter, and donate below. So where do you think the path for us leads in the future? And how do you plan on being a part of it? Let us know in the comment section. And to end with a quote from someone who understands the work it took to overthrow tyranny, just remember, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. This is Forrest Jellick signing off. Till next time, don't live free or die, my friends. Just live free.